Hey, what is up, guys? It's Chris again. I know I disappeared for a while, but no, I didn't stop trading. No, I didn't lose all my money. I'm actually probably doing a lot better than it was before. But it was just, anyways, let's get into the charts because it doesn't matter. So, a lot of people have been requesting from me recently to start making videos again, to start teaching people how to trade. So I'm going to try to be a little bit more consistent and post videos every single day. So just tune in. So right now, we're going to just talk about why things happen in trading, okay? So we went up and we went down and we're starting to go up. I think we're going to continue to move to the upside. But why is that? A lot of like novice traders don't understand things. Like these zones right here, these little rectangles are liquidation hunts. So if you notice right here, we have our doji candles in the 4-hour, right? So we'll go into our 4-hour, right? Acting as the zone. So what'll happen is an exchange, especially like exchanges like Kraken, where they're using leverage. Okay, so you notice how like you have like the wick of the candle, and it just touches it, and it starts shooting up to the side, right? So that happens because if you're doing 1 of 5 leverage on a trade, you have a 20% move to the downside, and you're wiped out, right? So it's to kind of catch a lot of the retail investors and then causing them to lose money. So a lot of people don't know when to get into trades and when to get into positions. So like right here, right? When this candle turns red, if you're new, your emotions kind of get in the way, right? Because if you got in here because you thought it was going to continue to move to the upside, you might be freaking out because it's starting to turn red and you're like, when are we going to go down? So I'm here to try to educate you guys a little bit better so that you don't do that, okay? So the first thing we're going to start off is going to be with the RSI. So something that I like to do that is kind of unique is I like drawing support and resistance lines on my RSI. So in this zone right here, we're going to draw one right quick, okay? Because every time we touch that zone, it'll either act as support or resistance. Notice how the tops go over there, and then we'll do another one at this zone right here, okay? So that's something that I learned that's been really helpful for me because it gives me confirmation, right? So like if we start bouncing in this zone right here and trading around this area, right, and we're doing the same thing here, right, it kind of gives me a better idea of what the flow of the market is. So the reason that this giant dump to the downside happened is because when we zoom out and go over to the daily, right, look at the RSI right here, it was way overbought, right? So then this zone right here started acting as resistance because we're moving up, 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 up. You guys have to understand that trading is like lungs. You know, you breathe in and you breathe out. So you move up and you move down. So if the trend is telling you that you're going to continue to move to the upside, it can't just go up in a straight arrow, okay? It has to breathe. There has to be zones. So what happened is we got into the zone, we shot up right from this zone right here, and then now it's time for us to exhale. So we go down, right? RSI goes down. Now that we get closer to that, 30%, now we can start breathing in again and start moving to the upside. So that's what's starting to happen. So since we have room right here on the RSI, we still have all this room that we can move to the upside, right? So we have all this zone that we can continue to move up. So if we go back over to the 4-hour, another thing that I like to do is using a lot of shapes and technical analysis. So we're going to draw a support and resistance line right here, okay? And then we're going to make a ascending triangle, right? So then we're going to grab another line, going to put it in if it would let me do it, okay? And then we're going to have our ascending triangle right here. But then another thing that we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing over here, because look, if you notice, it's the same shape that's happening both on the actual candles themselves and then on the actual RSI, right? So by doing that, we can get a better visualization of what's going to happen in the market, right? So even though we're in the 4-hour and it looks like we're going to continue to go to the downside, Bitcoin is a little bit weird and traditionally likes going above to like the high 80% zones and stuff like that. So we still have room. So now that we have confirmation, we're going to look at our MACD signal. So our MACD signal is still in the green, right? So since it's still in the green, we know that we are going to continue to move up. So then since we're looking at the 4-hour, we're going to look at the daily. Look at that. The lines just crossed right here, and then it's about to start moving up, right? So this whole red zone with this drop happened. Notice how, like, when that drop happened, this was red, and then our RSI was overbought. It went down to this level, and now it's going to start moving to the upside. We still have all this room, and then we also have confirmation from the MACD. So then now we have 1, 2, 3, right? Almost 4 confirmations. After that, we'll look at the volume, right? Volume is still green, right? It still means that we're going to continue to move up. So then I close the volume, and then we look at our moving averages. So we look at our EMA and our MA at 10, our MA at 20, right? So you notice how this MACD right here looks fairly similar. I put the colors the same so that I can have a good understanding of what's happening. So when we have this cross right here, like it looks over here, that means that the trend is going to start trading, and then it's going to start moving to the upside instead of going to the downside. Right now we found some support in this one right here, which is our 10-day EMA, right? This is still acting a little bit as resistance, but once it crosses, it'll start acting as support. So then from there, I like using my triple EMAs, okay, which is our 10, our 50, our 100, and 200. So I'll take this off and then put it back on so you guys can see it, right? So this one right here is our 200, the red one is the 100, the green one is our 50. So notice how when we touched this one right here, which was our 100, we touched it and then we started moving up. That's good. That's what we want to see, right? Now, once we start trading above this one right here, then it's going to continue to move to the upside because it's confirming that the trend is trading. Okay, so from there, I like to have a good visualization of what's going on and understanding my macros, and then making my decisions based on my micros. Okay, because if you had a puzzle and you only did one corner, you can't see the whole picture. So how are you expected to trade if you're only looking at things one-dimensionally? You know, it just doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, it'll look weird as you zoom out, but we see that our MACD signal is still green. Okay, we see that we still have a lot of room to move to the upside on our RSI. And then if we go back and draw the support lines, right? We draw them right here. That's exactly where we bounced off, right? So that's why I like using that. So right now I opened up a fresh chart so that I can show you guys kind of what to look for and explain things to you guys slowly. But I've had this stuff marked in advance for like forever, dude, right? Like, see, we have our liquidation zones right here. We have our moving averages and stuff. And if you guys want to see my BLX, dude, like this shit's like, look, the past bull runs, right, I've had marked down. I know what the fuck to look for, right? So it's really easy for me to make decisions based on the past. And then I have it on other stuff too, like on my stocks and like, right, it's Toyota, JP Morgan, on even Forex, right, Euro USD and stuff, right? So once you learn how to do this stuff, you can implement it into whatever, right? So that's why it's important for you guys to understand. I personally like you guys trading with crypto, not using leverage, because the gains are still good enough to be attractive, and you guys could still make some decent money. And but since you're not leveraging, if it goes down a little, you guys are not just going to blow an account, which is what deters people from keep trading and stuff, right? That's what makes people stop, because they lose money. Gasoline is never going to be $0, right? Just like trading without leverage, you're never going to just lose all your money. You might lose a little bit of money, but as long as you're patient enough and you have financial literacy and you make good trades, you can just write it out and make profit eventually, okay? Warren Buffett has a really good saying, how everyone wants to be rich tomorrow, but no one wants to be rich next week, because no one is willing to do the work that it takes to get rich. So anyways, on our weekly, it went down, right? Because our RSI started being overextended, and boom, we touched that 100-week moving average, acted as support. That's good. That's what we want to see on a bull run, right? We want to see us trading above the zones. And then on Ethereum is super apparent, especially when you go over to the daily. We're about to have a golden cross right here, right? Like these just touch. So like we have the confirmation from the macro trend, the long-term goals, that things are going to continue to move to the upside. So now we got to look for positions to get in, right? So I've already been in for a long time. So I got in on Ethereum at 180, and then I pulled us out when we went up to like 260, and then I switched over to Litecoin. And the reason I went ahead and did that is because everything just kind of follows each other. When Bitcoin starts moving up, Ethereum will start moving up and Litecoin will start moving up, and they move about the same distance, right? So if we measure this zone right here, this is a 14% move to the upside. Okay, which is good. It's not terrible. It's not terrible. So then we go over to Ethereum, right? And we measure again. We have a 17% zone to move to the upside. Litecoin, on the other hand, is at 38%. So people will try to be like, this coin's better than the other and this and that. Don't do that. That's what amateurs do, right? They get too emotionally attached to a specific coin because they want to make money, and then they make stupid decisions based on that. At the end of the day, you're here to fucking make money, not to just like, oh, I'm team Litecoin or team Bitcoin and team Ethereum, right? So the opportunity presents itself to you that there's going to be 100% move to the upside once we hit the previous high right here. Why the fuck would you get into Bitcoin because it's a bigger number when you're going to make 117% of your money, right? That means you're going to more than double your money. So if you put in $100, you're going to be at $220, right? So it's a $120 profit, right? I don't give a shit about the coins. I don't give a shit about crypto. I don't give a shit about Forex. I don't give a shit about stocks. I'm just here to fucking make money. So when the opportunity presented itself to me on Litecoin, I switched over. I caught the move on Ethereum because it's a bigger number, it's a bigger profit. And then I pulled out here. And then since I know that we're going to go to this zone right here, I started looking at the other coins and saw the opportunity that, like, hey, when this starts moving up and we go up to this area right here, it's going to do the same thing. But if I get on Litecoin instead, I can make a lot of money. So I have money into all the cryptocurrencies and stuff, but I put like a big chunk of it into Litecoin right now because it's going to be a bigger opportunity to grow. I still like to have something in a little bit of everything because it's about diversification, right? So you want to be green every single day. So when certain coins drop, other ones start moving up, right? So I just kind of switch back and forth. But that's why things like that are happening, right? So that's a little bit different video, just kind of teaching you guys a little bit more about trading and not to just look at things blindly. The biggest problems with beginning traders is that they look at things based on what they want the market to do, not what the market is actually doing, right? They're like, I like team Bitcoin because yes, or I'm team bull, or I'm team bear. We're gonna go to the moon, or we're going straight down. It doesn't work like that. You can't pick sides. You need to just do the technical analysis, start looking at the things. So I'm gonna make an effort to post a little bit more consistently, and you guys try to mimic what I do. Try to mirror me trading, okay? But not blindly follow. That's gonna be the biggest advice that I'm gonna give you guys, is that when you're looking at me trade, try looking at the things that I'm saying, but think, okay? What made me really good as a trader was watching other traders. And I would look at their charts and I would look at their things and see what they were doing. And then I would start to try to guess what would happen next, right? So I'd get into a session every single day. And the day before, I'd mark up the charts. And I got to the point where I started looking at things and started seeing things before they did. And as I started progressing, I started learning from better traders, right? And then I got good and I got confidence from making consistent trades that I decided to that, like, you know what, I'm just going to do my own thing, my own style, because I became an expert in this field. So I want you guys to do the same thing. Look at my charts, mark things up, but also have your own ideas. And then if they're wrong, that's okay. Try to understand, like, hey, what happened? Why didn't this happen the way it does, right? You learn a lot more from your losses than you do from your wins, right? By analyzing the situation and looking at it that way. Like, okay, well, I thought it was going to go up, but why did it go down, right? That's the biggest thing. The reason I don't really do signals is for that reason, is since I'm a more seasoned trader, people will call me and freak out, right? Because each one of these candles is a day. So yesterday, it shot the fuck up, right? Today, it went down. So they'd call me freaking out. It's still going to continue to go up, but because in one day it went down, everyone freaks out and pulls their money, and that's why they lose money. if you stay calm and collected and you understand what's causing this to go down, right? What's causing this thing to start turning red? Well, let's go look at it. This is a resistance level, right? So we have to break past the resistance level. If we zoom out on the weekly, right, we have our 100-day moving average also acting as resistance, so that's why it's hesitating a little to start moving to the upside, right? However, when we look at the 4-hour chart, we're starting to trade above all three of the moving averages, which is good. Our MACD signal still is green. Our RSI still has level to go. Plus, it's also making the exact same formation on our RSI as it is on our actual charts themselves. So then we take this out and then start putting our moving averages, right? Look, it crossed, and then now it's going to continue to go to the upside. So now that I understand that it's going to the upside, when do I make a trade, right? That's a lot of questions people have. Well, it's going to be in this zone right here, okay? Because this is going to act as resistance. So for it to move to the upside, two things are going to have to happen. Either it's going to go down to this zone right here, right? Our RSI will drop a little bit on the 4-hour, and it'll either bounce off of this zone right here, okay, or it's going to bounce off of this zone right here, or maybe it might go all the way down and then start moving to the upside, right? Again, trading is like lungs. It has to breathe for it to continue to the upside. It can't just start shooting up like a rocket ship, okay? So, or we're going to either go up, consolidate in the zone, keep bouncing around here, and then make a move to the upside. Now, traditionally, you should have a plan to the downside. I chose not to, but if we start going to the downside, what's going to happen is the moving averages are going to act as resistance. We're going to go down, right? And then we're going to start trading below this level. We have to make a lower high, but right now we're making higher highs. So if we see a lower high and then we see the MACD dropping and stuff like that, then I'd be like, hey, maybe the trend is traditionally going to change. So that's a bit of advice for me. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy the video.